And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tobacco Show. I am Matt Tobacco from SmokinTobacco.com, and I am joined, as always, with my friend Smokin Nicole. Tonight, Mr. Jonathan M. Carney will not be with us, unfortunately, but he is with us in spirit. Tonight, we want to welcome on our very special guest from Lord Puffer Cigars and the new fabulous Grand Cathedral Cigars, Miss Angela Yu. Angela, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi, guys. So cool to be on. That was a badass intro, by the way. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you.
The
Well,
whole
actually,
yeah, it was like
I
such
can't
good
take any
music. I was
credit.
like getting into it.
Do you know what? That is 100% John Carney. He created
Oh,
Yeah,
that
is
for us.
it?
Yeah.
he
I
made
loved
that.
it. The
Yeah.
music and like the sound effects. I was like watching it. So it was cool.
Yeah, I remember he did that. We just started using it. I think this is only our second episode with it. He only made it a couple weeks ago, and I remember when he did it,
Okay.
he got a new software for like making, video and stuff like that. And he sent me some samples of some stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I like that." And then at like 3:45 in the morning, he sends me
Mhm.
this video, and he's like, "Look at this," and I was like, "Oh my God, we have to use
No, it's
this."
cool. Yeah, it's real
He was like
cool.
up all night.
Well, John Carney,
um,
if you're watching, you did a badass job.
he should be watching. He should be watching. He is in Orlando right now, I believe. But he wasn't able to make it on the show. But I told him that's all right. We got this. We should be able to hold down the fort without him. But we have you on here, so it would be great. We have so much to talk about. We have so much to do. Um, we'll dive right into it. So I've found you on social media a few years ago when I started smoking cigars, and I followed you ever since. And you make it look so easy and so fun. But yet I know you work very hard. You now own and run two shops on each side of the
Mhm.
country. Watching you with some of your earlier videos at Lord Puffer Cigars down in San Diego, where you are now, as well as the building and designing and opening of Grand Cathedral down in Florida. You're definitely a busy person. So how long have you been in the industry? How long have you been with Lord Puffer?
So Lord Puffer is fairly new. Lord Puffer, we opened 2018. So we are 18, 19, 20, 21, 3 years. January made it 3 years. But before that, I was working with cigars for a total of 12 years now, um, all different levels. So I started off as a retail shop, which I think most people do. I was a
Hmm.
consumer and I enjoyed the industry. Then I had a part-time job at a local cigar shop, and I stuck around with that family. One of the brothers today is my partner in Lord Puffer and Grand Cathedral. We also grew tobacco in the Bahamas. We manufactured tobacco. So we kind of did like a little bit of each level. And I think we found that we just enjoy retail cigars and the environment and the cigar, cigar shop, the cigar industry. So we left manufacturing and went back to retail cigars.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, with anything you do, you have to kind of find where your niche really is, and it seems like you've
Hmm.
found that, and you've done really well with that. Um, so you've had Lord Puffer for a few years. You've done really good with your social media. You're one of those people that is all over there. You promote a lot of stuff. You show a lot of stuff. You have some crazy
Hmm.
cigars that you've smoked before. You
Yeah,
smoke a lot of Fuente, and I know that one of your signature cigars, which you're smoking right now, is the Casa Cuba, which
the
I'm also
Casa
smoking as
Cuba.
well. So good. Nicole, what are you smoking over there?
I actually have a Rosado Sungrown.
Ooh, there you go. That's
See,
a good
that's my
one.
second. That's totally my second go-to. If I'm not smoking Casa Cuba, go to Magar.
Yeah, those are fantastic. I would say, out of all the Fuente, like, aside from like the Opus and like the other stuff from the
Mhm.
core line, I would say it's like the Don Carlo and the Magnum R's are like my two
Yeah.
go-to. Those are my two favorites. I love those. Those are so good. Um,
Yep.
Fuente does a really good job with Sungrown, um, as well as obviously Cameroon. Anything with Cameroon from Fuente is just, oh, it's gold. But anyway, when did the decision to kind of put together and open another shop down in Florida with Grand Cathedral. Where did that idea come from, and how long ago did you guys kind of start planning that?
It's always been like in the works slash in the talks.
Hmm.
California is great. I love California. I'm from California, born here, grew up here, and it is a beautiful state. San Diego is a fabulous city to be in, but the truth is that it is one, not business friendly, and two, definitely not tobacco business friendly. And
Mm.
when that is your main source of income and your only line of work, it's kind of scary, I guess, to put all your eggs in one basket because you can wake up and the governor of California can say, oh, by the way, you can't smoke cigars anymore, or you can't even sell cigars. So at that point, what do? You can't sell your business because you can't operate the store. And it's happened to a lot of unincorporated areas of California. So I think sooner or later, it's just going to continue getting worse. So we've been trying to find, a different state that's a little bit more business friendly and tobacco friendly. And it was always either Arizona, Texas, or Florida. And I told my partner, Nathan, we can go to Arizona or Texas, but at the end of the day, I want to enjoy where I live too. And for me, Florida is the most comparable to California. So then we set on Florida, and one day it was raining. He said, why don't you look up something in the zip code? I had no clue where it was. He just gave me 33602. So I went on LoopNet and I see this huge church, and the rest is history. We got on a plane like 2 weeks later, signed the lease, and now there's Grand Cathedral. So
Oh, wow. So it happened
It's
quick.
Yeah, it did
yeah,
happen quick. And it's amazing. Not only were you able to pull it off quick, but with everything that's happened in the last year, it's amazing that you were able to do that, open it, launch it, and have it be running during the current state of affairs in the world.
we
That's
are
a
very lucky.
It's
We're very
very
lucky.
impressive. It's very impressive. A lot of, be honest with you, a lot of businesses were struggling to survive, and you blossomed a business,
Right.
which is fantastic. So really, hats off to you. Like I said,
Thank you.
Nicole has a favorite. As we followed along with you as you were putting
Mhm.
together Grand Cathedral, there was Nicole. What was your favorite part of that? You always talk about it. Angela was doing something
Wait, which
when she was building the store. Again,
what do you
you like
mean
your
when she
favorite.
was building the humidor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just loved watching it. Something that we've talked about is, one day in our home we're going to build an in-home humidor. So it's actually really fascinating to be able to watch that.
It's
But
fun. I love building, and and I swear it's not even for social media or Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. Like I legitimately love building. I hate wearing heels. I hate getting dressed up. Like I just want to go to Home Depot every single day, buy wood and just build things like that. If I joke around, but if I didn't have retail cigar shops and I didn't work in the tobacco industry, I would hands down want to do construction work. Like it's for some reason I just love it.
well, you're also good at it with all your
Yeah.
videos.
It's fun.
You make it look easy and you make it look fun. And as someone who actually does do construction work, it
Mhm.
doesn't always feel that way. So I'm
Right.
glad I'm glad I can watch you and just kind of be like, okay, I'm glad somebody enjoys it sometimes. Also, you got to smoke the whole time. I don't get to smoke my cigars while I work, so that's definitely advantage, Angela.
Right.
Um, so how big is Grand Cathedral?
So that's a tricky question.
Because it
On our
seems
site
so big.
plans, it's very big. So I think we're like right at 8,000 square feet, like 78, 7,900. But the
Wow.
problem is it's a historical building. So it includes all of the staircases, which we have three. And it also
Mhm.
includes a third story mezzanine and the bell tower. And a lot of that is not usable space. So
Mm.
it is 8,000 square feet, but usable space, I would say, is around like maybe 6,500 square feet because we lose a
Mhm.
lot of it through the stairwells and closets and corridors and all that.
Right. There's a lot of dead
But our
space,
and then
obviously.
and then our back, yeah, there's a lot of dead space, and then our backyard slash side yard is right at like 6,500, I want to say. So
Okay.
between inside and outside, it's pretty big.
And do you have a lounge there? So tell us a little bit about the inside, kind of what's going on, what lines do you carry?
Yeah, so inside, hi Johnny. Hello. Inside we have two levels, so upstairs and downstairs. Downstairs is open to the public, as well as the outside garden area and backyard area. Upstairs is our members only lounge. So we have lockers. We have two different membership lounges. One of them right now, we're in the process of building a golf simulator for it. So the guys
Ooh.
can golf there, whenever they want, one of the virtual ones. Humidor is about 1,200 square feet. And it's when I built it, or when we built it, I should say, we wanted to have, different spaces and different vibes. So if you're coming there after a date, we kind of have like private areas. If you want to be loud, we have the bar area. If you want to watch sports, there's a big TV room. So there's kind of a little bit of space for everyone. Our
Mhm.
humidor, we carry probably, I want to say maybe like a dozen brands. So the humidor in Tampa is not as big as Lord Puffer. Lord Puffer, our humidor here is 3,500 square feet. Tampa, it's right at around a little over 1,000 square feet. So it's much
Mhm.
smaller. The brands that we carry, we're heavy on Fuente and Newman's,
Mhm.
followed by Padron, AJ, Rocky, Perdomo, Foundation, Tatuaje, um, the United products, Atabay Byron, and then of course our house cigars. So
Wow.
we're still slowly expanding. So we're officially 1 month old, and there's still a lot of stuff that we have to do. So slowly we'll continue to add more brands. But right now we have about a dozen.
Oh, that's really cool. I like how you talked about you have multiple vibes that you incorporated into it.
Mhm.
Where some people, cigars, smoking a cigar is all about the experience. So some people, it's a
Right,
very quiet, relaxing experience. Some people want to go out to like the busy hustle and bustle of like
right.
a busier lounge and have some drinks and meet with people, be
Mhm.
social and smoke. So you kind of
Right,
have a little bit of that for everyone. And I also like how you have incorporated like a members only lounge area that's separate, that's upstairs. That's really cool. So you have like
right.
your own lockers and stuff for people to rent out, which is always really cool. I've watched a couple other people really get creative with that, and and none of them are near me, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like if I lived there, I would totally do that. But like, we
Yeah,
don't
our
really have
membership,
that in our shops.
we have two different levels of membership. So individual and corporate. Corporate being you bring more people and you have
Hmm.
bigger locker space. And as far as the different spaces goes, I was a consumer before I was a retailer. So I know what it's like to go to a city and look for a lounge. And a lot of the times I'll say, oh, well, that lounge was great, but this, or I like this lounge because of this vibe. So I never want
Hmm.
to lose a customer because we can't facilitate what he's looking for. That's why I think it's so important for retail shops to have like different types of space. That way you can just accommodate everyone, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so you don't have a membership area at Lord Puffer.
Oh, we do. So
Oh, you
Lord
do?
Puffer, we
Okay.
have public, yeah, we have a public area and we have a membership lounge. Funny story, the membership lounge was literally built overnight in like a week because California was shut down because of COVID. So we're like, well, shoot, we have nothing to do right now. We can't open, you know. So we went to Home Depot and started buying wood and we built a members lounge. It was literally just a storage room, and since we couldn't be open and we had nothing to do, we had to kill time. So we added the membership lounge at Lord Puffer, I think February of last year, February of
Interesting.
2020.
Okay. That's really cool. So I mean, you definitely are somebody who can take any kind of situation and take control of it. So, your clothes, obviously you're at more of a standstill, and instead of just being like, well, this is like a vacation, just laying back, you're like, no, what else can we do? Like, let's innovate. And you did that,
Yeah.
which is great. It's always interesting to meet people like that because it's the conversations and the things that they do are always so interesting. Um, but I want to ask you, so you are a big Fuente fan, and obviously you
Hmm.
smoke a lot of Fuente. What what is it that got you into Fuente? Like, what was it? What was it about Fuente that just got you so like in love with the brand?
don't think it's like one thing or one instance, right? It's
Yeah,
an accumulation of different experiences. Of course, first they make amazing cigars. I
absolutely.
love their product. So as a consumer, I appreciate their different lines of cigars. As a retailer, I appreciate Fuente because they provide a product that meets every demographic. So they don't only have high end cigars, right? They have cigars that, oh my gosh, Johnny, you're making me nervous. Sorry, one of our customers walked in.
That's okay.
Um, but yeah, as a retailer, it's great because they give you everything that's so diverse. So you basically meet every customer's needs. If you
Mm,
want, a $6 cigar, they have it. If you want a $10 cigar, they have it. If you want a 20, 30, or $40 cigar, they also have it. So for a retailer, they can take up a lot of shelf space and basically accommodate a variety of customers. You're not going to lose a customer because it's too expensive because they have other products. And if
right,
for the guy that wants high end, you can also get that. So that I appreciate their brand. I also appreciate that they're very supportive of brick and mortar stores.
hmm,
Um, at the end of the day, it's more expensive to come to a brick and mortar store and smoke a cigar because you can go online, buy the cigars for half the price as you would in California. But they protect us with certain brands like Casa Cuba and the Magnum R. So I really appreciate that. And they don't undercut, which helps us as a retailer out. And then lastly, I love their family. I mean, Cynthia makes fun of it because I always say the Fuente family, they're like real people. You know, they're one of the most successful premium cigar brands in the world. But when you talk to them, it's like talking to someone you went to high school with. And
mm,
they're just genuine, sincere people that are so loving. And their foundation really got me close to them as well because I've always had a passion for helping children in different countries. I was really involved with my church when I was younger. So when I heard that they had a foundation in the Dominican Republic where they provided education and school and dental care for these children, it's something that I really want to get involved in. And then after going to the foundation itself and seeing it firsthand, it's no joke. I mean, what they were able to build for these children in the middle of nowhere is better than facilities here in the United States. So I respect their brand from all different levels, from a consumer
wow.
to a retailer to on a personal level as well. They're just really good people. And Carlito, he's like a father to me. I admire him so much. Leanna, she's like a sister. If I, do something wrong, she'll be the first to go off on me and be like, look, Angela, you need to do this. You can't be acting like this. So they're like my adopted family, I guess.
That's really
And I could just go
cool.
on. I could just go on and on and on. Like Carlito's the father I never had. Leanna's the sister I never had. Like they just took me, like their little baby sister.
I
So I
love that
appreciate
answer
them.
though. the
No,
the
I
Yeah,
work
love
they
that.
do with
Yeah,
the foundation is amazing. Um,
yeah,
absolutely. It's
but
it's very impressive, and I love how big it is, and I like how not only they do such a great job with it, that there's so many people who want to get involved with it and want to contribute to it and want to help. And I love how they have special release cigars, and they sell those, and they use that money to kind of help with their charity too. And
hmm
they have such a great handle on it. And
right.
I like and like you said, like I like what it stands for. It's for kids. At the end of the day,
And
any
they
charity that
give
goes for
back
kids is
so much. They give back so
yeah,
much. Like if you see the foundation, you will just be so mind blown because their facility is even more advanced than facilities here in the United States, a first world country. They're doing
yeah.
they're in the process of building like a technical institute for after the kids graduate high school so they can learn
Wow.
a special trade and whatnot. They have sports facilities. And it's cool because when you go back there now, it's been around for so long that even the teachers and the doctors that are there are students that had graduated from there. So
Mm.
it's not like an infomercial. Like you can actually see the generations being changed and the neighborhoods and everything. So it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's so impressive, and every time that it has come up, it's always been really. cool to see and to learn about. I'm still always learning about it. One of the things that, like you said, that you love how just the family themselves, the Fuente family to me is one of those families that the cigar industry is a very family driven business. There's a lot of these
Mhm.
brands are generational family businesses. You look at like the Padron family, the Perdomo family, the Fuente family. Um, and I've always loved that about the cigar industry. And I think that's one of the first things for me why I like the Fuente family, because it is so
Mhm.
generational. They've been around a long time. Um,
Right.
they seem to really be together. I mean, there's so many of them
Mhm.
together that are in this. And, even I was watching The Great Smoke over the weekend, and Carlito was on, and during his segment with Abe, and he got very emotional just talking about Liana.
Yeah.
That was just like I don't know. I guess I kind of felt that for. I was like, wow,
They're real people. Yeah, they're real
yeah,
people. They're relatable people, and they face real problems like us normal, non-cigar family people face as well. So it's just cool to see someone of that status just be so humble and down to earth, So I admire them
yeah,
for
it's
that.
very refreshing. A lot of times, people see someone that's kind of like really up there on the ladder, and they just assume that they live in
Mhm.
their own little bubble, and it's like, no, they don't. They live like everyone else, and
Right.
they do give back, and they use the resources and the reputation that they have to give back to people. And I remember
Right.
Carlito in different words touching on that during what he was talking about with Abe. And it's always something I've admired about them. Um, but doing a quick time check, Nicole, I know, sorry, I'm trying to keep track of time here, but I know we have to touch on our news segment very quickly. And I know you have something I think you're going to bring us for news this week.
Cigar industry news brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars. Become an ambassador today. So this week we had some big news from the FDA. So the cigar industry asked courts to throw out FDA regulations for premium cigars. So this has been an ongoing battle for the past few years. But they submitted a request to hopefully throw out some of these FDA regulations. Matthew, I know you had something to say about that.
Did I?
You did when we were talking about it before the show.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, it's kind of like that never-ending battle of the FDA and premium cigar world, and kind of like what Andrew was touching on with California. I know California is one of those states that's on the state level of it, that's less tobacco friendly, obviously,
Very not tobacco
and
friendly.
and being and it's interesting because as a business owner and a retail owner in California, Angela, you can really speak to this because you actually have to live with this not on just personal level, but you have to do this on a business level every day. So
Yeah.
I mean, Lord Puffer being in California, and then you have Grand Cathedral in the state of Florida, which is much more cigar friendly. That's definitely going to be night and day for you right now as a business owner. Now
Oh
that you
my
have
gosh,
Grand Cathedral
Florida
open,
is awesome. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, Tampa is incredible. The mayor came over for our soft opening, and I was like, thank you, Jane. Like, thank you for facilitating such a great city.
yeah.
It's just so strange, in California, I think it was in the movie Casino, Robert De Niro. Like, until he moved to Vegas, he was treated like a criminal everywhere. And in California, you're basically a criminal every single day because the state gets on you for this or that. So coming to a state like Florida where they're so business friendly and the people who work within the city and the state and the county, they're so pro business, pro, people coming in from different places to regentrify the different areas. It's refreshing. So, but yeah, the
It's funny.
FDA is like California.
And well, even here in Massachusetts, I mean, we have a 40% cigar tax here, and it's very, very difficult,
Mhm.
to support your brick and mortars here. No, not us specifically, but with that 40% tax, it is rough for some people, and it drives a lot of people up to New Hampshire, which is very close
Right.
to most people in Massachusetts, which has zero sales tax. So you go up to New Hampshire, and there are all these beautiful lounges that are big, and they draw so many people in Massachusetts. It's hard to find even just a closet size place to go
It's
hang
it's
out.
interesting because
Yeah.
in Massachusetts, there's a decent amount of shops like here and there and around,
Mhm.
and they're smaller, and just from my experience being in them, they're nice, they're not bad. People go there and they have cool stuff, whatever. But when you go to the lounges in like New Hampshire, or just the shops in New Hampshire, it's much different scene. They're bigger, they carry a lot
Right.
more lines, there's a lot more going on. It's just a whole different thing, and I feel like with Florida, that's kind of like going to be like the same thing. It's I just even from what I know, there's so many cigar retailers in Florida.
And like, I don't
Yeah.
even think there's any lounges in Massachusetts that sell alcohol, like in their lounge. I don't think they're allowed to.
Oh,
The
really?
Yeah.
only
No
the
Whereas,
way.
the
That's
only
awful.
one there's only
yeah.
one that I know of, and if there's another one that I don't know, I'm sorry, but from what I know, the only one would be Stanza in the North End neighborhood of
I've heard
Boston.
about that
Yeah.
place. I have a friend
Yes.
that lives in Boston. Is that the one where you go down like an old staircase or
Yes.
Yeah.
something?
Yes.
And like owned by the
Yeah.
mob or something like
But I
that?
think that's just because
I've heard
it's
of that
Yeah.
so
one.
old that they kind of were able to
Mhm.
bypass, certain laws because
Yeah, they were
anyone knew.
Right.
grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone
But
knew.
And you
I
know
think
what
that's
else?
the only one.
Another thing about Tampa, why we also chose Tampa, is because since cigars is our main, source of income and it's what we do, the day that Tampa does not allow cigars is the day that you will not be able to smoke a cigar in the entire country. You have companies like Fuente, Newman, Oliva that are based out in Tampa, and they fight so much for the cigar industry. And Tampa, especially Ybor, being the cigar capital of the world, if they ban cigars from Tampa, there is no more cigars across the United States. It is like the final straw, basically. So,
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like almost the heartbeat of America for cigars down in
exactly.
Tampa. I mean, I remember you actually shared a photo on social media. I can't remember when it was, but you were on a flight and you got to the airport and they had an Arturo Fuente ad in the airport. Like I've never seen that
Oh, yeah,
anywhere.
yeah, yeah.
But like in
So,
Tampa,
so
that's normal.
Fuente has the last page of American Airlines. So every American Airlines magazine has Fuente in it. And then
Oh,
as soon as you get out of, I think it's Terminal Two, where American and Delta land, you are greeted by this massive like "Welcome to Cigar City" sign, and it has all the three generations of Newmans on there. Or no, it has Bobby, Eric, and his son Drew Newman on there. So it says
hmm.
"Welcome to Cigar City." So if you can't smoke in Tampa, there's no more hope in the cigar industry in the United States. Tampa
Oh
is like
yeah.
the final straw.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's like the proverbial when hell freezes over, I guess.
Yeah,
When
exactly.
Tampa loses it.
Mhm.
um I don't think I think we lost your audio, Nicole.
Oh, here we go. Sorry, that was my
There
bad.
we go.
I said on the topic of Tampa, how are you adjusting to living in Florida now? Um,
uh, I like it. Florida's very much like California as far as you have the beaches, you have water, and I'm lucky because I've been really busy working, so I didn't really have time to feel like lonely or like a fish out of water when I moved there. And the people in Tampa are just so friendly, and there's so many cigar families there that they've just made me feel so welcomed. And I think people in Florida are just really nice too. You don't have to know someone for a long time, and they're just so welcoming and whatnot. And then we've also had a lot of customers from San Diego come visit Tampa. So pretty much every 2 weeks, there's someone from San Diego that's in Tampa. So
Wow.
I haven't gotten too homesick. I just bought a place out there. My mom's moving out in 2 weeks. I have my dog. So if I am lonely, I take my dogs and I go do stuff with them. But the adjustment has been fairly easy, a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Hmm.
But I'm definitely lucky to have the support of so many good people and good families around me. So they made it a lot
Yeah.
easier. Otherwise it would be hard to have just picked up my bags and moved across country overnight.
Yeah, that's definitely a challenge. And I've had friends that have done it. Um and luckily they've either had someone waiting on the other side for them, or they had people that went with them, or they did roll the dice and they got very lucky with it because, as you said, I had a very close friend of mine move to Florida from up here, and he acclimated very well, very quickly down there. and left for the same reasons. Florida's just it's a different breed of people. From they're friendlier, they're easygoing, they're more laid back, they're not so uptight. A lot of people like up here in the Northeast are like we have this reputation for being like a very like fast paced, like kind of uptight, serious business kind of people. And then you go down to Florida and it's like no, it's like no rush, take your time, friendly, no one's gonna bite your head off, and there's no craziness. It's a more relaxed area to be. And that's one of the things I've always loved about it. All aside from the fact that, like you said, it's warm, it's nice. It's like California. There's palm trees. I wish I lived in an area that had palm trees. Unfortunately, I'm looking at snow and pine trees right now out the window.
Even though they're so similar, as you were saying, Florida and California, they are almost like 3,000 miles apart. So there has to be like some things that you just miss, or restaurants, or. Oh, I think, did we lose your audio? Can you hear? Irving.
Yeah, we did.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what happened. I know she like flickered there for a minute, and then she came back, and then now I can't hear her.
Uh-oh.
Don't stress, Angela. Don't like fix it. No, like I just mean like don't get too nervous. It's okay. I know she was nervous before.
Hold
I'm
on.
not sure what happened there though. Oh, it was weird. It's like your audio kicked too. I don't know what happened there.
Mine did too? Oh.
Yeah, like before I told you. I don't know why. So just for you guys who are watching, so we're kind of adjusting to a little bit of a different broadcast setup than we normally use. So there's probably just a little glitch in this system, and not that I'm throwing shade, but John Carney is usually the one who helps me out on this because he actually knows the software even better than Nicole and I. So, but he's not here to bail us out. So we're live on the air. And we got to figure this out.
I was just going to say, Angela, it says that you muted yourself. So
oh, that's probably
here
why.
we go.
Oh, no.
All right. Well.
Is there any way you can unmute her on your end, or is it just...
No, that's okay. I tried to do that. But why don't we switch over to sports? And while we do that, Angela, I'm going to have you log out and then click the link again, if that's possible. And we'll go from there.
That might fix it.
Okay. So we're going to go over to sports. So I'm going to have you do that.
Yeah, well, we're just going to hit on some of the highlights this week. Our sports segment brought to you by Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova, make Nova big. If you head over to novacigar.com, you can use our discount code SMKTAB15. You can save 15% off of your next order. So as of late, if you follow along with us, John and I usually cover sports. It's a lot of the time of football, but as the last couple of weeks, there's been no football. The football season is over. So NASCAR is one that we usually talk about. I'm a NASCAR fan. John's a NASCAR fan, not as much as I am, but he likes to dabble in NASCAR as well. Last week was the Daytona Road Course. New upcoming rookie Christopher Bell wins in only the second race of the season on the road course with Joe Gibbs in the number 20 car. Major League Baseball news. Baseball players have reported to their spring training camps for the beginning of spring training. That's very refreshing considering a year ago, spring training started and was halted halfway, and then the Major League Baseball season didn't start till midway through July. So hopefully this is a good sign. Baseball will start on time this year. Even though there is a pandemic, it'll be nice to see a regular baseball season this year. Whether or not there's fans at all the games and whatnot, that's a different story. But at least if there's players on the field, the game's being played, that's very important for us. I'm a huge baseball fan myself. My family is involved in baseball, for those who don't know. So it's very refreshing to see, baseball season starting on time. I haven't really caught up on basketball and hockey, and basketball is usually John's corner of the sports segment. So I'm going to skip that this week, and I apologize. But hopefully next week, John has a couple of highlights he can hit on for there. But I think that's going to do it for our sports segment for now. It's been a very quiet week for our sports corner.
And now we're back with Angela because I can definitely hear her.
Angela's back.
You are the best technician ever.
Yeah, I have to give all the
working.
credit to
Okay.
Nicole. She produces the whole show, and she I don't think she's really ever had a natural disaster doing the production. I think she's always done a good job, and she's always been able to get out of any little jam that we've ever come across. Um,
It's a
for
hiccup.
those who, I mean, yeah, right, hiccup. It's
But
unlike
you
our.
troubleshooted it so quickly. You troubleshooted it though.
Oh yeah, she's good at it, and thank God,
Kudos to
because
you.
I'm not as quick usually, so I'm lucky to have Nicole. We actually, so interesting enough, speaking of technical issues, we are coming up on our 1-year anniversary of the Smokin Tabacco show, and we do have things that we're going to announce for that, and it's gonna be a great time. We're gonna have a whole party. But it's funny. So John was here last week, not for the show. He came the next day, but he was here with me, and we did an event with LFD. And after that, we were kicking around on our computers. We actually tracked down the very first episode of the Smokin Tabacco show, which we thought we lost, but we did find it. And it was just so funny because it was our first run through. I think we lost the whole production halfway through, and it was kind of one of those like, oh, what are we doing? And like, is this really gonna be anything? And here we are. But it was so refreshing to watch that footage and be like, wow, look how far we've come. But if you haven't seen that, I will tease there may or may not be a glimpse of that.
But
on our 1-year anniversary.
isn't it cute to watch it?
Yeah, it is. It was. I just remember we put it on. We were kind of scrubbing through it and just kind of hitting like different points of it, and just remember looking at each other and laughing, and being like, "This is awesome!" Like I can't believe like wow, it was just so fun to watch. Mm.
And we do have some. I mean, March is going to be a big month for us in terms of guests, so we were very excited about that.
That also would be a good time. We said that we were going to announce our March schedule at the end of February, which we will do. I don't think Nicole will probably hit on it. We will post that online. But next week, we haven't talked about who's coming on next week. And I've been waiting until this week because I didn't want to say too early. But this show felt like a good forum to announce it. So we do have a very special guest. Not that our guests are not all very special, but we have a very fun special guest coming on the show next week. Angela already knows. We already told her. So she already knows who it is.
I know the secret.
I know, right? You're on the inside.
I got the inside scoop.
So next week, calling all Fuente fans, we have the one and only, the beautiful, the lovely, the first lady of cigars, as she is known in some parts, Cynthia Fuente will be joining us on the Smokin Tabacco show. We are very, very, very excited. I know Nicole's also really excited too. It's another sister of the leaf, just like Angela. We've been talking a little bit more lately about having more sisters of the leaf, and Nicole is a newer sister of the leaf too. She's only really been a part of this for less than a year now, so it's exciting for her to see some other peers in the industry. So that's our big announcement for the week.
And Cynthia is going to be so much fun to have on. So I'm not even saying this because I'm a Fuente fan, because obviously I'm a Fuente fan. But with this whole COVID, everyone's gone virtual, everyone's done Zooms and, all these virtual interviews and stuff. But Cynthia is one of the most fun guests to have on because she's just so full of life and energy. So she's going to be great. I look forward to Cynthia's shows because they're always funny and, they're so interactive. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the other stuff that she's done, and she is fun. She's fun to watch. She's fun to listen to. She has a lot to say. She's so positive. She's so happy. It's very refreshing to watch. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm so excited, and one second. And so yeah, we're really excited about that. And as I said, we had Jose Blanco on a few months ago, who now from Arturo Fuente, and that was a great time too. So yeah, it's a lot of work, like we were talking about before the show, just to put these shows together and to work with people and have people come on. So a lot of people they tune in and they watch the show, but there's a lot that goes on in the background too. So we're excited when we get to share it with everyone else. I just lit up sorry if I was a little distracted in between there. I was lighting up my next cigar, which is going to be a 6x60 Magnum R from Arturo Fuente. This is one of my favorites, as I said before. So I was just lighting that up. Nicole, how's your cigar going?
I'm getting towards the tail end of it, but I'm still holding out.
Might need
But
another cigar.
I know. I have another one lined up, but Angela, I'm curious to know. I know you're just getting, kind of on the ground with Grand Cathedral, but where do you plan on opening more shops in the future? Is this the end? Is it like what? I feel like you have plans.
I love Grand Cathedral. I think there's still a lot of stuff that we can do to improve it and grow, but I know there will be a time where I want to do more construction and we'll probably find another building.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I mean there's nothing that has been decided or we haven't really talked about it yet, but I know that we get bored easily. And once Grand Cathedral is finished being built and whatnot, I'm sure there will be a possibility that we'll go and do something else somewhere. Where, I have no clue. What state, I don't know. But I just know the type of people that we are, and we are always looking to do more stuff and more stuff. So I'm sure if we find like a magnificent church somewhere, that'll definitely be a selling point.
New Hampshire.
So.
Just saying.
Yeah. You know what? It's too cold up there. I can't do the cold. Like I don't
blame
it's
you.
probably like 70 degrees right now, and I have a bufanda on. So I don't think I'll be able to live in the snow.
You could do six
Yeah.
months out of the year and be a snowbird and travel down.
And you know
what they
what?
call
The concept snowbirds, yeah. And the thing that that blows my mind is I don't know how people walk their dogs in the snow. Like how do you pick up the
It's
dog
cold.
stuff in the snow? Like what do you do?
Well,
Or if it's like a little dog and it's a lot of snow, where does the dog go?
you have to
I've
shovel a
always
path.
wondered that.
You have to
Okay.
shovel a path. So I have a Labrador mix. Her name is Harley, and she's
Okay.
half lab, half golden retriever. And I literally have to shovel a path for her to go in the snow, like in the backyard. Usually they plow the roads and everything, so you're able to walk.
Oh,
but
okay.
little dogs, especially little dogs, you have to.
They'll get like lost in there. Or
Yeah,
something.
if it's 2 feet of snow, you have to shovel like a little path for the dog. So
It's more work to live
Yeah.
up here in the cold.
it really
Yeah.
is.
I'm not going to try to sell you one coming up here. 'Cause
Yeah, we're
it's
not.
Right.
honestly, I feel for you. I'm not going to make you endure that pain.
But in the summer, it's
You know what?
nice when it's warm.
You know what my dream is though? So like the church, I've always wanted a church. Even before we found the church, I always
Mhm.
thought it's like a cool building. But I also like either a train station or a like an old firehouse or something like that.
Ooh.
Like I thought those would be cool venues. So
I could see.
maybe if I find one of those, then maybe we'll
I could
open
see
another
both
store.
of those actually.
Yeah.
I could see you like opening up like a whole chain of smoke shops that are in different historical buildings. Like you have the church, you have
Yeah.
the firehouse, you have an old train station, and that's like your theme. That would be really cool.
Just
I like
old buildings.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
could do a lounge on like an old train. Like I don't know. That would be kind
Yeah.
of cool. Like with the seats and the tables. You need good ventilation, but
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Another
that's true.
crazy one that we wanted to do. So I used to live in the Bahamas because we were farming down there, and we bought a barge. There was this old barge that we bought one day. So I always thought it'd be cool to have a cigar lounge on a barge, and it would travel, especially like a town that's based on water or a river or something like that, and it can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
go to like different stops and stuff. So
that is kind of cool.
I don't know. That
Huh.
might be like a crazy, not practical dream, but
It's a cool idea. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea, but is it practical?
yeah.
I'd love to do it like while I'm on vacation.
Yeah, I would do that. I
Right.
would totally do
I don't know
that.
about like an everyday, but I don't know.
Sit out in the sun, smoke, drink some tropical
Yeah.
drinks, float on
Out of
down
a
the water.
coconut.
It's so relaxing.
Exactly. With an umbrella. We gotta have the
Yeah.
umbrella.
Yeah, exactly. See, she gets it. She knows what it's like to live in paradise. She,
She has
Um,
lived in paradise.
that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like she gets it. You know, unfortunately, like I was saying before, I'm looking out the window and we have like it's
It's
starting to melt,
melting.
but there's still at least a foot of snow out there in the yard. So it's
You know what?
cold.
The
It was
funniest thing happened. Speaking about weather, a couple days ago, it was pretty cold in Tampa. At least I thought it was cold. So I bought cases of hand warmers from Amazon for people to sit outside when it's cold. And I must have like approached a girl from somewhere in one of the snow states because I was like, hey, it's kind of cold outside. We have hand warmers if you'd like. And she just looked at me like I was just batshit crazy. She's like, why do you guys need hand warmers? I'm like, because it's cold. So
Well, we have a crazy fan, Orlando. His name's Orlando. And he
yes.
watches, and he's in California. And when it gets under
Okay.
50 degrees, he
He's in
puts a
Anaheim.
sweater on.
Okay.
And we just laugh at him because he's like, I'm so cold. He'll wear his gloves in 50-degree weather in California. And we're like, oh, hey, the wind chill's negative 18 here. So,
Yeah.
It was
Hi,
50 degrees
Theodore.
today.
How are
I drove home
you?
with the
Good, how
windows
about you?
down.
Good. Nice to see
I know
you.
you were coming.
I had the windows
up?
down. Like it was nice out, and like that same weather in California, Orlando's like
Oh, you did?
freezing,
I returned mine.
Yeah.
which is always funny. So, and I know he's probably watching it. He's gonna chime in the comments section, probably on Facebook. But yeah, so that's always something we deal with Orlando. I'm like, yeah, you don't know what real cold is, Orlando. Okay, you don't know what it's like to wake up one day and it's 12 degrees.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been in 12 degree. Well, I've never been in like 40-degree weather. God forbid 12
Yeah.
degree. Like, I don't know what
Yeah,
to
like
do.
that kind of cold when you walk outside and the wind blows like just enough where like your face just hurts right away.
Right.
That's like the kind of cold we have here in January. But we're almost into March now, so we're almost out of it, thank God. But so I had another question for you, Angela. So as much as
Yeah.
we talk about cigars and is involved in the cigar community that you are, outside of cigars, what are your like your mental turnoffs when you want to get away from cigars and you want to do something different? What are your other interests that you have?
I love to eat, as weird as that sounds. So when Nicole was talking about what I missed, and then when I got cut off, it's definitely food. Like I'm a total foodie. I love food,
Mm,
and when I'm not at the cigar shop, I'm probably on my phone Googling or Yelping new restaurants. I'm total food nut, so I like to go to, and I'll like drive far distances to go to like new restaurants and venues. So definitely food, and then of course my dogs. Anyone who sees my Instagram knows I'm obsessed with my dogs. So I'm always going to dog beach or dog this or dog that, and that's pretty much my life: cigars, dogs, trucks, construction, and food.
trucks. Okay.
Truck,
So you're a truck girl.
truck girl.
Okay. Yeah, she sounds like a lot of fun. Like, we definitely should hang out with her.
I'm
That's like
definitely my parents are mortified because I'm definitely not the stereotypical Asian. Like I'm totally the black sheep Asian. I'm good at math. I can play the piano, and I'm like kind of a bad driver sometimes, but other than that, like I'm not your Asian stereotype.
I was actually gonna say
Like,
I thought I saw a video of you playing the piano online.
yeah.
Which was cool. Actually, was it? Actually, I think you found that. Wasn't she playing? Weren't you playing a piano with Carlito? I feel like there was
Yes,
a
that was
video
here
or
in
something.
that was in San Diego. It was either in San Diego
Oh,
or the Dominican Republic.
I think it was
So
in the Dominican.
okay.
maybe. So Carlito has a piano in his office in the Dominican Republic, and whenever I'm lucky enough to go down there, which is like maybe if I'm lucky once a year,
Hmm.
I hijack the piano.
That's cool. That's really cool. I mean, how many people could say they played on Carlito's piano? That's awesome.
Probably just Angela. And
I know,
and
right? Just
others.
Andrew's like me. Oh, I'm just we still have some time left. Yeah, and it's funny because normally, like by now, we're just getting to our sports segment, and I usually hit the highlights, and then John kind of runs away with it. Not that we don't love that. Not that we don't love that. John really gets into the
Yeah.
sports. He's a big sports guy. I mean, I am too. But Angela, since we did kind of lose you there, while I did the sports segment, I didn't get to ask you: are you into sports at all? Are you a sports fan? Do you follow any teams? Is there anything like that you're into?
So I used to work with sports before I worked with cigars.
Hmm.
Um,
Really?
Yeah, that was like my first job that I ever had. Um, I was okay. So okay, I'm gonna go on a tangent right
Go.
now. My first job I ever had, I was like 14 years old, and the baseball stadium for some reason I was working there through my church, so it was really community service, but you got paid for it.
Yeah.
And I was the ketchup and mustard girl at the baseball stadium. So I would go around to all the ketchup and mustard stands and fill all the bags with ketchup and mustard, and then fix the relish and the onion and all the condiments. So I worked there, and then I met the owner of a company that does all of the photography for the different sports teams. So you know how like
Okay.
when you go to Disneyland, there's someone at the gate taking pictures and they try and sell it to you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a company that does that for MLB, NBA, NFL, college football, golf, and hockey. And I met the owner. I started working with him, and I when I left, I was managing different sports teams. So I got to work with the Padres, the Angels, the Giants. I did some
Wow.
SEC football, and it was pretty fun. So I'm more of a baseball fan, but unfortunately, when I was with sports, I was working with the Padres, and they're not the greatest. But if I were to say, I would say I'm a Padre fan. The only
Interesting.
problem with the
Okay.
Padres is we don't keep players long enough. I mean, I think when I worked with the Padres for 4 seasons, and the oldest player there might have been with them for like 2 seasons. So it's really hard when that's the team that you follow, and you follow players, and then next thing you know, they're traded, or they get bumped down to the minor leagues, or they go
Yeah.
overseas to the Japanese league or something like that. But I do love baseball. Football, I'm not so much of a fan of. I should be getting into hockey because I live in Tampa now, and apparently we have a kick-ass hockey team. So I think I'll
Hmm.
try and get into hockey.
Well, now that you're in Tampa, you say you're not a big football fan, but now you guys have Tom Brady, who, like, you got from us. So it's a gift to the city of Tampa from us here in New England. And
Yeah,
it's paid off for you guys.
there's who's the so there, I'm gonna like totally get made fun of for this. Who's the guy that's really popular that plays with Tom Brady?
Oh,
Gronk.
Gronkowski. Yeah.
Him. So his agent, I went to lunch with his agent one time because he was interested
Ah.
in getting a locker, and he's friends with Steven Schliemann, who manages all of our locker sales. And afterwards, Steven, he was like, "Hey, that was pretty cool. You were sitting with Gronk's agent," and I had no clue who this Gronk guy was. I can't even say his last name. So I'm like, that was pretty cool. And then we have a hockey player who has a locker by us too, but I don't remember his name either. But he plays with the Lightnings or something like that. So
Yeah.
I need
That's
to I
cool.
need to touch up on my sports knowledge for sure.
Well, I know Matthew might not say it, but he actually has a connection to Fenway. So he's a big
I
Fenway
do.
Park guy.
Nice.
I grew up inside of Fenway Park because since 1999, my dad. So I guess my dad's a union electrician, and so am I, in the city of
Okay.
Boston. And so in 1999, my dad got sent to Fenway Park to take over of all electrical maintenance and everything they needed. And he was there during the ownership change to the current ownership, under John Henry and all those people. And when that happened, they decided. So there was a debate at the time when he went there of, do we build a new Fenway Park?
Hmm.
Where are we going to build it and all this? And that was a whole thing that was going on. The new ownership came in and said, we're actually going to keep Fenway Park, make it historical, make it a historical landmark, and we're just going to renovate it. And so he was there for all of that. And he played a pretty big role in the redevelopment of the existing building, as well as, all these other things that he does for them too. So for me, growing up, I grew up going to Fenway Park all the time. You could say that I definitely, out of all the sports that I do love, baseball is still number one for me. It's the one that hits close to home.
Hmm.
I've spent a lot of time doing different things, just like you at Fenway Park, even though I didn't get paid for it. I got to meet friends who worked doing different things,
Nice.
in concessions, or whether it's souvenirs or it's just different departments within the Red Sox organization, just in the building.
Right.
It's so when you said that, I'm like, I totally get it because I've been there, and
Mhm.
it's cool and special. So obviously I'm a Red Sox fan. I always will be. I've had a lot of great memories with that, so baseball to me is still number one. I love football. I love NASCAR. I love the energy. I like hockey most of the time,
But
usually
there's just
in the
something
playoffs.
special about baseball. Like, I don't know, it's
Yeah,
just a different feeling when you're at a baseball stadium. And it's like so much like it's like a walk down memory lane or something. I don't know.
it's more like for me. I think it's more nostalgic. It's more.
Hmm.
There's a lot more history there with baseball, and if when you go to
Right.
a baseball game, it's almost like tradition, to go to a
Right.
game, you know, to soak it in.
Seventh
It's
inning stretch, you know.
yeah. There's the rituals that go with it that make it
Yes,
so
I
special.
agree. I
It's
agree.
not like just football has halftime and like that's like when you get up and
Right.
you go to the bathroom and you get back in the beer line.
Right.
No, like baseball is truly it's a special experience. So I totally agree with you 100%, and I get it.
Okay, so if you're a Fenway guy, I'm gonna
Hmm.
totally butcher this fact,
Okay.
but so Fuente was built or Fuente started in 1912. And when we were in the middle of construction, I thought it would be cool to find a bunch of different items from 1912 to put in Carlito's office at our
Hmm.
store. So I was like looking for significant things that happened in 1912. You know, I have old newspapers from 1912. I have old National Geographics from 1912. I have a book because Titanic sank in 1912. But I think Fenway, something significant happened with Fenway in 1912. I don't know if it was like some kind of construction that they did, but 1912 is significant in Fenway history. I just don't remember exactly what the fact was, but you should look into that, being that you're a Fenway
So,
guy now.
so
It was
you're
something
very you're
1912. I cannot
you're
remember what it is though.
you're very close.
Okay.
Um, it's actually probably the most important part of Fenway is it
Okay.
opened April 20th, 1912, and
Okay. See, I'm not going crazy.
Nope.
it opened the same week that the Titanic
Mhm.
sunk. And a lot of people tell you when you go through Fenway Park history that as
Okay.
awesome as that was when it happened, it was special, and Fenway Park was kind of like ahead of its time in that era. It got so overshadowed with the
Mhm.
news of the Titanic sinking because that was like the catastrophe. It was like, oh my god, it kind of like overshadowed, but it was still kind of significant in its own. But yeah, so yeah, you were close, but
All right, that's it.
um,
I'm gonna get a Boston Red Sox jersey and put it in Carlito's office and like get the numbers
yes,
1912 written on it.
Yeah.
yes,
And
you
then if you
do. That
ever
would
if you
totally be
ever come to
awesome.
Grand Cathedral, you gotta sign it for me. If you ever come to Grand Cathedral, it'll all tie together,
We'll bring you something special from Fenway when we come too.
We can.
Yeah.
and
I know. I know.
I will put it in that office.
I know a guy. I can make that happen.
Nice.
So guys, we are coming up on our hour mark of the show. And normally we do go a little bit past the hour just because John and I get so enveloped in conversation. But we've been trying to keep it to a strict hour here. So I'm going to, wind the show down. But before we go, we've already kind of announced our special guest for next week. Cynthia Fuente is coming on, so don't miss that. Nicole will be. Do you have the schedule for March in front of you?
I do, yes.
I don't mean to like kind of fire out of the cannon on you. I
No,
know
no,
you're
no,
probably
no.
close
So
after,
our first week, March 3rd, we have Cynthia Fuente. On the 10th, we have Zevin Omar from Fratello Cigars coming on. We have Luis from Casa Cuevas on the 17th.
Yep.
The 24th is just going to be a Smokin Tabacco house show with me, Matt, and John. And then 31st, we're going to end out the month with Pete Johnson on the show.
From Tatuaje.
Oh,
So-
Pete, he's so cool.
Yeah.
So we have a great
is
lineup
cool.
for March.
Yeah, so March is going to be a busy month again for us. We keep on trucking. Busy, a lot of shows, a lot of people to talk to, a lot of great conversations ahead of us. We're really excited. John is not here to promote Hacking Gourmet, so I will. I'm not sure. I don't have the timetable. I don't think they did a show this week, so I think they return next Monday, I want to say, for Hacking Gourmet. So make sure you guys go and check out Hacking Gourmet. support John. Check that out. That is his cooking show that he does with Fred Rui and Brian McGee. So definitely check that out. Facebook, YouTube, Hacking Gourmet. John, I got you. I know he's probably watching. I got you. You're not here, but I got you. And as always, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us, Facebook, Instagram. Angela, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you guys.
It's been so cool to just sit down and have a cigar and talk and get to know you better and just hear about all the amazing things that you've done, especially just in the last 12 months. You've been quite the busy gal. So thank you for coming on. If there's anything you'd like to say, the floor is yours. Any announcement you want to make, whatever it is.
Thank you guys for having me. It was so great. It was nice getting to know you guys too, because I've seen your guys' shows, and it's nice to have been on here, and it's a total honor that you guys thought about me. I really appreciate it. And as far as Grand Cathedral and Lord Puffer goes, just stay connected with our social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook always. And Grand Cathedral, I should say Grand Cathedral, a lot of people have been asking me about Fuente Fever. So it's an annual event that we do in San Diego, Lord Puffer, but we are bringing it to Florida. So our Fuente Fever event, we are planning it for sometime in May. We don't have a set date yet, but just stay connected with our social media. And when we do pin down a date, it will be posted. So.
And I think for people who don't know, because I have tried to look up the Grand Cathedral Cigars website, which is still a little bit under construction, but you can sign up for a mailing list and then get all the news as it comes out, which I did. So
thank you. I appreciate it.
There, definitely check that out if you're interested.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And thank you for coming on. And I don't know if anyone knows your schedule, but you flew into San Diego last night and you're already going back to Florida tonight. So I know you've had a crazy 24 hours and you were still able to squeeze in some time to sit down with us. So I really, again, thank you. I appreciate it. And
I swear, I planned
travels.
my ticket. I totally planned my ticket. I took the Delta red eye because it leaves later. And I was like, oh, shoot, because if I took the earlier one, I was going to be in the sky the whole time. Or I would have been at a layover in Atlanta, and it would have been just awful to do the thing there. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take the red eye and make it on for this show. So I planned my travel schedule around y'all.
Well, we appreciate it.
We do really appreciate it.
You took a later flight just for us, and I know some of those later flights are not always the best.
I took the red eye for you guys. So thank you guys
so
much. It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, and anytime you want to come back, you let us know. We'd love to have you back again in the future. But that's it, guys. Next week, don't miss it. Cynthia Fuente's coming on. Same time, same place. Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.